So in my last video, I shared that I felt like I was going to die. And basically what I think it was a really, really intense anxiety response. I'm not really sure to what yet. And so I kind of wanted to bring you guys along figuring out what exactly happened. So I saw my psychiatrist on Friday. It's now Monday, and the current state I'm in now is not at all still stuck in like the permanent fight or flight response. I'm feeling better. I do still have kind of intense bouts of anxiety, and the psychotic symptoms have been more increased as well. But I had my appointment with my psychiatrist on Friday, and basically we agreed to kind of stay up on the antipsychotics for a little bit, and he gave me some extra PRNs for the anxiety as needed. But what he kind of wanted to explore was if there was any physical reasons for what happened. And so he gave me a requisition for a whole panel of blood tests, as well as an ECG, to just kind of hopefully rule out any physical reasons why that anxiety response happened, or what appeared like an anxiety response happened. So I'm going to go do that today, but first I'm actually on my way to a therapy appointment. So hopefully talking about it more and kind of digging through it with my therapist will also be helpful in terms of figuring out perhaps why it happened, or I guess more importantly, what to do if it happens again. So that's where I'm heading to now. Hi. So that was good. Therapy is always good. I always feel good after leaving therapy. We talked primarily about stressors in my life and what could be causing anxiety, and tried to, process those things a little bit more. Also got into a little bit of strategies for managing anxiety. So things like focusing on sleep, so working on sleep hygiene and calming my body down through different techniques and whatnot. Also managing tasks that could potentially be causing more anxiety or even guilt at not being able to have as much capacity as usual. And so being more intentional about where I'm putting my energy and focus and what I'm doing. Still not a lot of understanding of what exactly happened. So now I'm going to head to the lab to do the blood work and the ECG, hopefully. And yeah, I'll share what comes of that as well. So I got done with getting my blood taken and the ECG. Learned from the nurse who did both those that an ECG and an EKG are in fact the same thing. That always confused me. EKG is British, apparently. Basically, they were just testing things like my thyroid and whatnot with the blood work and different, stuff. They're testing stuff to see if there's any physical reasons why the anxiety or panic attack like symptoms happened. And then the ECG is just to monitor if there's anything wrong with my heart that might have caused it as well. So done with that. We'll get the results in a day or two, hopefully. Hopefully I will be able to see them on my little health app, but maybe my doctor will call with results as well. But now I'm just at the pharmacy about to do the last step in my little let's figure this out and take care of things journey today of picking up the PRNs that my doctor prescribed for me.
Are you taking that one for anxiety or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's what this one is typically used for. It's going to help relax you. You can take one tablet twice a day. It does cause some drowsiness and dizziness. You want to avoid alcohol with the medicine.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for us?
Nope.
Hopefully it helps if you do our phone numbers on there as well.
Okay, thank you.
And
Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah.
So it's been a couple days now. It's now Thursday, and I was able to check the results of my lab tests on my phone through the app. And well, some of them. I got the blood test results back and everything appeared to be within normal range. So as far as I can tell, I'm not a doctor, but there's nothing really of note there. I haven't been able to access my ECG results Perhaps they just don't update on the app, but I haven't heard from my doctor or anything, so there's likely no concern there. I also took the little ECG on Rob's Apple Watch, and that was fine, so we'll go with that. I think, if I'm being honest, I was kind of hoping that there would be some physical reason for why I experienced what I experienced, in terms of feeling like I was going to die and just grappling with that really intense anxiety-like feeling. I was hoping that there was some physical thing to point to a little bit, because that feels easier on some level than realizing or coming to terms with the fact that it was an anxiety response, and there are certain things in my life that perhaps need to be addressed a little bit better or processed a little bit better on my part. And there are changes in my life or stressors in my life that kind of need more attention. And so I guess it was helpful to go through this process of trying to figure out what exactly was going on and what happened. I'm really grateful that this period of intense anxiety and the flight or flight response and being stuck in that really only lasted for about a week for me. I read many comments from a lot of you guys who have experienced similar things that went on for months for some of you. And so if you've experienced that, I really feel for you, because it was very, very difficult. And it was a little bit scary, feeling this really intense physical response in your body to something that may not actually be physical in nature. If you've experienced something like what I went through and what I shared about in my last video, you're not alone in that. I'm really sorry if you have experienced that, because I know it's very, very difficult, but hopefully it will end, and perhaps there is room then to explore how to handle perhaps contributing factors like stressors in your life that may have contributed to it. And you know what? Anxiety is kind of weird. There may not be these big contributing factors or stressors in your life, and you still may have gone through some sort of anxiety-like response like that. And that's okay too. Our brains are very, very complicated, and sometimes things go a little off, and that's okay. I maybe shouldn't say that it's normal, but it happens to a lot of people. So you're not crazy. You're not weird or malfunctioning. I think I was kind of lucky in a sense that my really intense anxiety and being stuck in the fight or flight response kind of dissipated before I went through this testing and whatnot. But I can totally understand if you are someone who's also experienced this and you continue to experience it throughout this testing. And if the tests come back and saying that there's nothing physically wrong with you, that can be confusing, disappointing, upsetting, because it really was a completely physical experience, what I went through. I had the racing heart, the heart palpitations, I had tightness in my chest, I had tightness in my throat. It was a really physical experience of it. And so then to be told that, well, no, there's actually no physical reason for this, essentially it's in your head, can be, a lot to process and a lot to kind of grapple with. And so I just want to reiterate that, even if it is in your head, so to speak, it does not mean that you are crazy or defective or whatever, wherever your mind may be going with that. Your brain is just doing something a little weird, and it's okay. It is possible to move through it. And so if you are still stuck in this, I want to give you hope and optimism that you can move through it. Hopefully you can work with your care team to figure out ways to manage it. I've been doing this YouTube channel for several years now, and I feel like I have a good grip on my experience of my mental illness and, what it's like for me living with it. But every now and again, there are these new experiences that come about that kind of throw me for a loop. And so, I think that's probably something that everyone experiences sometimes, is difficulties in their mental health that come about unexpected, and you don't really know how to tackle them. You don't really know what's going on. And I just want to communicate that it's okay, and reach out for support if you're going through something that you don't know how to manage on your own. So anyway, thank you for following along in this video, and thank you also for all the messages of support on the last video that I shared with you. It was really, really comforting and nice to hear from people who may have experienced similar things or just were thinking of me or sending well wishes. I really appreciate that. So thank you for your love and support through comments and whatnot. Thanks again for watching, and as always, wishing you and your loved ones good health. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.